Let's try a little music. A little new music, we'll see. Is that working? Yeah, okay. Might be a little loud for me. I'm gonna add a little bit to the mix here. This is, these are remixed. It's a little tricky. You know what? I'm not sure. Let me pause on this one. Maybe I'll play it for a few minutes. We'll see if it clears. We'll reflect back. We'll see if it clears. In the meanwhile, go to the main. Won't stop me from making some art. Hi, Jules. Oh, where's my face here? We need my face. Where'd my face go? Yeah, I didn't stream this morning because... Okay, there's Big Me. Where's my face here? Want to turn it back on? No. Can I add me? Yeah. Let's see here. Where might I be? That's that one. Looks like it might be, like, way off screen somehow. Here, let me click this one. I'm trying... strange as it may be, I'm trying to... Yeah, here we go. We're coming back. It's gonna take a second. Yeah, here I am. Don't ask me how it happened, but I was about 3,000 pixels the other way. Alright. Okay, but here I am. So that's good. Okay, so that's working. This is working. This is working. I'm trying a little different music. Hopefully my voice doesn't sound weird or majorly different. Coming in through clearly. I adjusted some things. Constantly tinkering. And today and right now, the big cool thing that I want... Okay, good. Sound normal? Yeah, sound like my normal weird voice. Let's see here. I want to finish this piece. Let's make it big. Some big in it. Thank you for the vote of confidence with my normal voice. Okay, this piece, nearly done. The plan is to tweak it a little bit to... It'll have more like this color scheme. It'll be... Essentially, this is almost just treated with a photo filter to help sort of unify the direction of the colors, so like a little bit more separation, specifically between, like, hey, if we're gonna have this much orange, we should have more blue in the negative space, which makes sense. That's the a brief on what happened. Are you okay? Is this... Something is about to happen? Something happened and you're going to brief me. Tell me what happened. The music is suspenseful. Nothing that bad? Okay. Some sort of... So, things can get pretty bad, so... My perspective on bad is that bad can always get worse. So these days every trial is a opportunity to practice gratefulness and gratitude that things didn't get worse. But by all means, share if you feel like it. Serious illness, hospitalizations. There are people can be... No, I shouldn't let my mind wander. It'll never come back, I think. Here, you disclose when you're ready. We'll, let's see here. Got my uni schedule that will change in a week, but put into a group with my friend, but also 3 people who piss me off. Luckily, I don't have to go for another 2 days. This is a terrible thing. Group dynamics are so important. It's important to feel like you have and can rely on like a team. This is why I don't trust jury trials. But I wish you luck. This might be an opportunity to... You're scared of my new literature teacher. She has a bad reputation. Interesting. I often have trouble with teachers and authority figures. I don't know. I don't have a lot of good advice in this scenario. My advice: drop out of school, go your own way. You know, that was my way. That was with mixed results. I don't know if I would endorse that. So don't do what I did. Stay in school. And yeah. Well, you will push through it, Jules. The reason I can sense this being a serious thing because I know from our stay in school kids. I know from our interactions that you take knowledge and school studies and performance in one's role quite seriously, and when you are paired with those who don't toe the line and or work against the what is clear to you is the proper way to do things, that will that probably gives you a lot of anxiety, and all I can offer is my sympathies. I don't know. Did I guess right? I hope I'm not too far off, but I feel like it can be. I'll tell you, I will often be on projects where it's not that often typically, but when I started out in my work, sometimes I would be hired with people who didn't really care about the outcome of the storyboarding. Like the storyboarding, they just talk over people, are loud, have no respect, just pure rat race. Yeah, they have different motivations, and obviously compared to yours, not admirable ones. Nothing to be pursued or gained from these interactions, probably, and that's tricky. Man, I don't know. When I'm on a project where people sort of like, yeah, unfortunately we have to do these storyboards, so, you know, here you go. Let us know when you're done. We'll be over here playing video games and goofing around online. And that is the worst kind of situation where you feel like all you have to do is like prop up, like your assignment for the day is like deal with these trolls and like basically help them when they don't deserve it. And I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know, but well, have a fun time today right now with this stream, and we can you know, do some hard work together, but also, I don't know. I'll try to think of more good analogies. Maybe as I steep on it a little bit, I'll have some ultimate wisdom to impart. But let's see here. The music we have as the backing track is from another video game that is sort of similar to Zelda, but has different music, and It might be cool, or it might get struck down. We'll see if in the end it has any issues. But anyway, the mission for today is here. I circled a bunch of small things. So I think I chatted about it maybe like several streams ago, actually. But the, you know, we actually made a lot of progress here. You may have not been there when I started adding these details. So you can see this is looking kind of cool to me. This is the Octorok chase. Oh, wait, and then it gets even better. There we go. I think the sword reflection in the eye here is a little too bright, but I think overall, I like the way that this composition is working. I have to mellow out this sunset, sort of blend it out a little bit. It's a little too grabby. I love it too. What's happening to me is now that I am with my patience and dutiful iterating, I can feel my mind expanding, and obviously I did this one way faster than I did, you know, this thing. This one took forever. But again, as I go through and practice on this, I get more confidence in sort of moving forward with the actual color that is more appropriate. And this is looking like it's almost practically done to me. This still needs things like atmospheric effects and whatnot, but it's kind of to a point where I want to set it back a little bit and come around. And I think that means it's time to go back and finish off this thing. And you can see there's lots of little silly things that are like this eye could be slightly darker. There's a little bleed on this cheek. What did I circle this whole big thing for? Oh, yeah. See, so you see these sparks? These sparks are supposed to be on the opposite side of the shield. So we're not supposed to see them on the inside of the shield. We're supposed to see them on the opposite side of the shield. And then look here. This bat should maybe it should be there like that. I don't know. Maybe they're supposed to be small. They are actually pretty small. But I was curious, like, should the bat wing be under the like on the opposite side of the sword? That would increase its size relative to camera, or if it's closer. But like what I'm noticing is, like, I don't know, it feels to me like some of this stuff, you know, it just needs a really small adjustment and then it's done. Oh, and then I want to get a little bit more like red laser light on some of these things that are still facing it but don't have enough on it. It's really close. Might as well just try and knock it out, right? So I have about an hour and a half before kids come home from school. Oh, and then there's another silly thing. I forgot, and it's almost impossible to see. But here, I drew a treasure. Long ago, I drew a treasure chest. And treasure chest. Yeah, treasure chest. And then just forgot about it. And I don't know if I want to have anything, but maybe if I'm painting a small bit of something, I can make it. This bat nose here just needs to be a little darker. So there's a lot of small things. And then I'm comfortable just saying it's done. What's funny is I love it, but I also hate it because I don't know, it's hard but to compare what you think you can get away, what you think you could do now on top of when you look back at your old stuff. It's just how it is. But we can start working on it, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a reference image for this just by taking a screenshot, and then we'll have it. Okay. So we have that. Is this for your biology class? Did you say it was? Oh shit, I hit the wrong button. Here we go. Ah, there we go. Your uni assignment. Did we talk about this? What are you studying in university? What is it that you don't already know? I'm pretty sure you've got the requisite facts. Pretty much whatever. That's what I know best. Is it languages? Communication? So here we go. I'm going to open a reference image. English philology. I know we had a talk about what philology is. Philology. But it won't surprise you. Yeah, I can't even spell it right. Philology. The structural, historical development and relationship of language or languages. Love it. How does that differ from linguistics? Is that the same thing? Literary or classical scholarship. Interesting. What is the study of philology? Study of the history of language, particularly. Okay. It's linguistics, too. Okay, maybe linguistics is part of philology. So it feels like it might be. Here we go. This is our little roadmap of fixes we need to fix. Okay. Let's start here. Little bat nose. It's the Max and Jules. This could be it. It doesn't need to be anything other than that. I'm happy with that. This is the first day. I've been really blessed lately to have not only had a lot of paid work, but paid work that had opportunities of downtime to break away and work on this. And that time apparently has come to an end. Today I'm not booked. There's no indication that my clients will need me today, this week, at least on the stuff that I was booked on earlier. That stuff might be done now, so now I'm back to seriously needing this project as a sort of roadmap for my sanity, so that I can make sure that I don't go crazy with having my head spin out into everything that can go wrong when I'm not working. Having a little diversion just to keep my mind and I think actually one of the best things about this is I really feel like I'm learning a lot about something that had major gaps. I know it's hard to believe because I'm so good, but I don't have a lot of color experience, and this is really helping to identify and progress with making some advances on some of the stuff that I haven't been able to get enough practice in over the years. Everybody, when I get hired, it's to push out black and white drawings as fast as possible. And if they look good, great. If they don't look good, they still need them as fast as possible. And I want things to look good, so I do. I make them look good. And that has been good. That's been a part of what I do. I can turn over good work very quickly in black and white. But never asked to do it in color. Pretty much never. And so I never had any practice. And now I'm feeling more confident now. Feeling like I can do something about... Like if people decide they don't want to hire me for storyboards anymore, maybe I can switch it up to something else. I don't feel like I have zero experience anymore. I can pull stuff up and say, yeah, I colored this. And not be too embarrassed by it. Okay. This background. This is going to be a little silly. But we're going to make it a little brighter. And a little bluer. And then there it is. A little Easter egg. If anybody wants to say, I saw something in the background. And I think it's a treasure chest. They can say that. Some stairs leading up to it, maybe. Something feels like that. It's not really raining here. That's just the music. It's like a rainy day. Video game music. It's pretty relaxing. The other day, my brother texted me. He's like, "Hey, I need that ADHD medicine back. I ran out, and my pharmacy doesn't have any." I'm like, "Okay, you can have it back." It wasn't really any kind of big deal. But I'm back to unfiltered Max, which I'm not really sure there's much difference other than maybe I can choose to be a little bit more patient with my life in general and not get as frustrated about stuff I can't control. want it to be a little bit visible, but I don't want it to really steal much attention, so it'll be a bit of a balance. If it's obvious, it's not an Easter egg. But I don't think it's obvious. I think it looks good. Okay. But there is a lot of detail on it, which isn't that great. Oh, I drew that on the wrong layer. Maybe I can blend it out a little bit. Maybe I need to blend it out a lot. Yeah, it's kind of a shame, but I have to be smart about where... Now it makes sense why I never pursued it as a detail. It's so in the back. So, it's so situated in the background. It doesn't really make sense to make it anything really noticeable. Blend it out a bit. Okay, I'm pretty comfortable with that. There's no reason to... Oh. That looks terrible. Gonna have to do one of these. Just completely kind of undo what I had done. But learned something along the way. Okay. Time to save my work. Alright. This skeleton here needs more laser light influence. And I'm going to kind of paint it on top a little bit. More here on the chin. Here on these teeth. Here on the collarbone. little bit more. Or we might see some laser highlight, even if it's a little artificial. Okay. Now the same actually needs to happen here on these flying bits of bone shard. Save, save! I did save a couple of minutes ago. Here, I'll save again. I think I'm getting better at that. Yeah, better save than sorry. And I have a feeling that if I do even just a little bit this on some of these other flying bits of bone, it might help. Okay, according to my little notes, I'm unhappy with the light reflection of this fire not being present on these straps. I think I'm right. After I get these notes implemented, I'll save it out. I'll post it on Instagram, and you can be the first to like it. The finished piece. Let's see here. Just a little bit brighter. And then mostly orangey yellow brightness. Do they have Halloween in... I mean, I'll sound like a very American person by asking this question, but do they have Halloween in Poland? Like Poland, if I'm not missed, it's a very Catholic country, right? Not like Halloween is a religious holiday here, but I don't know. Not sure if... Uchi, what's going on, man? Literal fire, literally blazing lasers of fire. Small things. Getting tweaked, and I'm going to post it, finish it off and post it today. So there's this dark spot here that's just a little more eye-grabbing than I want it to be, so I'm going to adjust that today. After I save, I'm going to save. And then I'll adjust it. I'm glad you like the skeleton. It's spooktacular. So this is like... Where do I have... Because Halloween is coming up. We do a lot of Halloween decorating. Alright, what's going on? Lost a little bit of weight. Does it stand up if I put him here? How cool is that? Jules says Halloween is not really much of a thing. Old people and right-wing assholes try to fight it. It's barely celebrated. Going trick-or-treating is not allowed anymore, I think. Right, but it doesn't happen anyways. Adults just get party dressed and get drunk. Yeah, this skeleton is... this is a very cheapo little plasticky skeleton, but... yeah, for us in... Los Angeles, it's sort of like a big wild party kind of occasion, and they'll do parades in Hollywood. In our neighborhood, there are lots of kids that trick-or-treat, relatively lots of kids that trick-or-treat, because there's a lot of families in my area. And obviously, my young children go trick-or-treating. We like all of our neighbors, so we'll trick-or-treat that way. Some people do too much trick-or-treating, and that's good for them, I suppose, but for my kids, like, even just a little bit of candy feels like too much, so I think I'm being a better parent by saying, no, we're going to trick-or-treat in our own small neighborhood where you won't get tons and tons and tons of candy. You'll get a normal amount of candy that is already too bad for you. You were trick-or-treating once in your life and it was a disaster? That's terrible. That's hard. I'm sorry to hear that. I haven't trick-or-treated myself in probably 30 years. I don't think I did it after I was 10 years old. That feels like... I think the last time I did it was with my friend in his apartment complex, and that wasn't bad. There were lots of kids there. That felt appropriate. But after he said he was too old for it, I was like, well, then I'm too old for it, you know? I thought about dressing up as Link. Fun fact, I actually have dressed up as Link when I was a kid. I actually did that, yeah. My hair is not quite the right color, but I could pull off a good Link, I think. Despite being probably twice his age. Yeah, there exists some sort... My mother didn't really understand the aesthetic. You know, in the 80s, which is when I was like 6 or 7, when Zelda came out, they didn't have costume stores the way they have now, selling costume... Like, well, they had costumes, but they weren't like licensed IPs from Nintendo. That didn't exist. So there was no Mario costumes, there were no Link costumes to speak of. And yeah, so I told her I wanted to be Link. She didn't even understand the assignment. She did sew for me a wonderful homemade Link costume that wasn't very good, and you know, but proved her worth as a mother, you know. It's no objections. I don't think there are any photos of it, but I know it happened, so she gets credit for sure. There we go. I'm just taking down that line a little bit. It just doesn't need to be that dark. It's grabbing too much of my attention. Yeah. But as it was, I had my... The sword that I had was already long gone. Has been long gone for 1,000 years, but I found my old shield that was part of the costume. My dad had made me a Link sword and shield when I was a kid. And so at least I had already like the good stuff. But what ended up happening is I would go trick-or-treating, and I remember people saying, "What are you, an elf?" And I would say, I'm Link." And they would say, "Who?" And I'm like an embarrassed kid, like, am I the only person who plays this game? So, kind of a cool oddity right there. But, where is the Zelda? Uchi, did you see the, did you see this one? Got Zelda coming up. I've been working on this one, a little bit these past few streams, so... This one will be ready pretty soon, too, but we're taking a little breather on this one. The internet, however, is overstocked with... No, I mean, in real life, Zelda for the little Link. I did not, No, I had a next-door neighbor who was a cute blonde at the time, but, you know, I was, whatever, 6, Oh, maybe you were talking about the neighbor, or the trick-or-treat person reacting to me. Yeah, but back then there was no context for, like, an adult to understand, like, what a video game was, or what a video game character was. It took a long time for, like, home video games to be, like, known as cool. They were not... It was not a, My friends didn't know Zelda was cool until I insisted that they start playing this game. Because I wouldn't shut up about it. I just kept talking about it. And eventually they got the game and they're like, "This is amazing!" That was by the time Zelda 3 came out. Alright, here's Link. So one thing I'm trying to fix here is I just feel like video games were cool, but there was an association with video games as being kind of the... You were either in the 80s, 80s and 90s, you were either a sports kid or you were a video games and comic book kid. And I was clearly in the video games and comic book universe. That was my thing for sure. So these lines for Link's feet, some of this is just feeling too dark. The contrast here. Yeah, you were either like a cool jock or you were a nerd, and there was no delineation between the two things. Or you were a delinquent. So I went from nerd to delinquent. That was the artist path fell right in between there. So it was very natural for me to make the leap, answer the call of artist delinquent, corrupted youth. All bad decisions. I'll brighten up some of this stuff. Kind of needs it. A little bit more distinctive. It's feeling better. Max the Rebel, yeah. Eh. I don't know if I was not that bad. I didn't actually get in trouble much with school. Like, there was never any real disciplinary issues. Like, I did get detention a few times. But the most part, even when I did bad things, like I ditched class a few times when I felt like it. But the teachers, I had such, like, I had an affable communication with my teachers. Like, they all liked me, even if I didn't do my homework and got bad grades. They all liked me as a person. They sort of, like, I don't know. There weren't many detractors of the Max equation. I've always had a good ability to, I don't know, charm. It's all in good fun, you know. I made that come across pretty clear. I'm not trying to make any enemies or really hurt anybody. So that's a little bit brighter there. I feel like that's okay. Now this needs a 2 right here. This needs a little bit of brightness. Okay. So what I don't want is, I don't want there to be big, bold contrasts of things that I don't want to appear that important. If they're important, I need them to appear. But if those important things have to compete with unimportant things, then that's not good. Okay, here, this is a big one. We need to... There's this little chunk of... Uchi used to ditch classes for a whole week, so that's pretty extreme. So what I was trying to say is I would ditch class, and then they would, like, it would get caught in the accounting, like your attendance or whatever, and they'd be like, go and explain yourself, and I would go up to the, I would go to the office and I would say, yeah, I was there, I don't know what happened. I said I was there. And they'd say, okay, get a note from your teacher to corroborate that, because mistakes happen. And then I just wouldn't get the note from the teacher, but because I was not marked as like a bad kid, there was never any follow-up from that point. There were kids who were constantly getting into trouble, and so like they would like pay attention to whether or not that person actually ditched. But in the case of me, you know, I did it sparingly so that it was within the margin of error, and I would get away with it. Your friends became proxies for me, so they'd be like, present, you know. Here, you know, sort of. They would prop up a skeleton in your seat and say, we're here. Yeah. There you go. It's good to have allies, you know? Alright, here, there's been some sort of chunk, poorly colored bit of... What is happening? Oh yeah, I don't need to erase it, I just need to correct the color. Okay. Okay. We're talking about, like, ditching school and Jules is like, she's tensing up, hearing about the disrespecting the teachers. It's terrible. I would never endorse such a thing, but I had to do something to channel my destructive tendencies. You would disrespect a teacher that disrespected you? I felt disrespected by the system. I was very over and suspicious overall. And actually, I think, if anything, I've been validated by what transpired, because the whole system of education that I was growing up with was essentially this... Again, Jules, you may disagree with this, but we were very much being sort of fed this line that if we didn't go to college, then it was over. You know, we'd be... there'd be no chance for us to ever make a living. And as a result, you know, everybody, basically almost everybody except me from my high school, went and took college seriously, and then came out into a world where their college degrees were more or less... I'm not going to say they were... They may have been overvalued at the time once it came to be that, yes, you and everybody else, or they and everybody else came out and they had a degree in what, you know, but simply that became the new baseline, and setting yourself apart from other candidates for a job was still something that needed to happen. And in the meanwhile, you know, for what it's worth, like, I was well into my artistic career before most of my friends graduated college. And it's interesting that listen, academics, like real college, I don't have any opinion about that, but I do firmly believe that most art education is kind of a scam and should just be avoided at all costs. Certainly is not a return on the money. I'm comfortable saying that. I did go to a little bit of art college. I went to Vancouver Film School when I was 17, 18, and that was a waste of money. They were, and I knew it too at the time, even though they were a well-reputed school, and they weren't like teaching crap. It's just they were teaching stuff that even at the time was demonstrably being phased out in terms of the... Uchi says, respecting teachers is one thing and becoming their puppet is one thing. Yeah, I heard it all the time. It's a thing here, even in primary school. Yeah. I think the real issue was there was no consideration that you should have a direction in your life, and then when you have a direction, pursue it to the extent that education can help you. It's like, where do your passions lie? Then, you know, go for it. In my generation, in my area, it was definitely you need to go to college first and find a direction in life later. But whatever you do, don't miss going to college. Because if you do, you're toast. And I think the record is pretty clear. That advice didn't end up being perfect advice for most people that I grew up with. Okay. I want to see what happens if I take this bat and put it behind the sword. going to have a one-off bat. This will shock and amaze, but I'm probably not the best advice of what to do in terms of occupation and occupational advice and direction in life. I was fortunate with a lot of things. Could have gone the wrong way in a lot of ways. And I don't know if the path that I took then to get to where I am now, I don't know if that exists now. The road is not as clear. Okay, I don't like it. So we'll go back. We'll go back to the way it was. That bat can... That can be a small bat. And that's okay. Small bats need love too. Okay. Alright, Uchi. See you in a bit. Okay, what else is here? This little spark thing got fixed, so I'm not sure how that happened, but it's done now. And now, I guess there's a part of here, the thumb or something on Link isn't looking right. But yeah, I went to animation school in Vancouver in the year 2000. And this was a reputable school to teach and learn animation, which is something I was interested at the time. I did have interests in animation. But there was... kind of were big problems in their... Hold on, I need to save my work. Let's flip this upside down. What I'm worried about is having like a hand that looks so goofy that people might get confused about it being AI or something. No, I can make a fist and get something that kind of looks like that. So I'm not going to sweat it too much. Maybe something small to help. We were at that animation school and they were teaching the right things, but for the wrong time. The world was changing in the year 2000. Animation was being done on computers, and unlike most of the classmates I was going there with, who most of them were actually like adults many years older than me. Most of them had already gone to college and then decided to go to animation school. And I guess that's how Canadians did it. You know, I'm American, obviously, but the Vancouver Film School is in Vancouver and is its own sort of can of worms. Okay, this feels a little bit like I've done something to make it look better. As long as it looks better upside down, I think I'll be okay. But messing around with it too much is going to be its own issue. This feels okay. They were teaching us to animate on paper, first and foremost, and it became clear to me that actually I knew more than my teachers did. These were not, I didn't feel like they were not necessarily, I didn't need them to be perfect teachers or anything like that, but it very much felt like a waste of time. And when I was definitely, and it came at a time when I was definitely processing a lot of challenging realities for my own personal mental health, dealing with, like, you know, at that age, or not seeing your friends, breaking up with a girlfriend, and feeling like everybody else was doing something else far away and I was with a bunch of strangers in a different country studying something I wasn't impressed with. And it was hard. Fun fact, time with Jules. In Poland, detention is not a thing since like 80s and 90s. Okay. Did they... I could see them seeing it and being like, well, according to these Western pop culture movies, detention is something that all the kids are doing when they're cool in America. So we better just get rid of it entirely. Do you think that had anything to do with it? I'm just being a smartass, but sometimes I wonder, they incentivize... Things get incentivized differently sometimes. I don't know, I'm pretty shocked because most people here are really old-fashioned. Well... At least there's Twitch. I don't know. That's... kind of messing with stuff too much, I think. Okay, just a couple more things. I'm going to save. What do they think of... I mean... Let's see here. Do you have plans outside of university yet? Do you intend to reside in Poland? Is Poland a place where young people are trying to make a future for themselves, or are they sort of moving? Is that a thing? Does it feel like the goal is to get out, or the goal is to make a space? You want to move to Switzerland, yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Not that I don't know anything about Poland by experience, and Switzerland is probably its own can of worms, but most people get out of there. It's interesting. I actually also live in a place where everybody... This may shock you. This may shock you, but almost everybody, and I went to high school with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Well, you know, there were 1,000 people in my high school. So out of like 300 people that I graduated with, there are probably about 30 people that still live here in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is a cool place to live. So it's weird to me that so many people moved away. That was a challenging reality for me to face as well. I went to school in Vancouver for a few months, and I missed all my friends and home. So I moved home, only to find out that everybody had moved away anyway. It was just me, lonely in a big city where I had previously tons of people that I was hanging out with. It was very difficult for me to process that by not going to college. I mean, everybody went to college and they too went to places where they didn't know anybody, but that was part of what they signed up for. Me moving back and hoping to not be, isolated anymore, I felt just as isolated and defeated by what I had done. It's very frustrating. Now, of course, I have friends now, but I've made most of my friends that I have right now through my wife, who is skilled at making friends, and none of her friends here are friends that she knew. She had to make them, and they are all from other states. Most of the people who live in Los Angeles are not from Los Angeles, so and it's a known thing. I'm sort of a rarity as someone who grew up here and stayed here. When I meet other people like me who are like, "Oh, you're from here," it's a fun thing because we know it's actually pretty rare. When you meet someone in Los Angeles, a good topic of conversation is, "So where are you from?" It's like a normal thing for people to move here from other places, but then the opposite is also true, where it's like, if you're from here, that's a rare thing. Anyway, if LA was not a good place for me to be in, you're the Max type of person. So are you considering then sticking where you are? Because for me, it suited me fine because my family was still here, and I'm close to my family, and also, coincidentally, LA is like an entertainment place where an artist could actually make a living. And then the final nail in the coffin was, I'm kind of like a lazy, unambitious person. I'm trying to fix that now, but at the time, like, the lazy thing for me to do actually ended up being like a smart thing for me to do as well. So, I got lucky like that. But I'm not a person who, like, I can be happy with very simple things, so I don't necessarily need to muck around with, if I don't live to my greatest potential, I'll feel like I did something wrong. It's like, if I can get by and afford to eat tacos, I can be a happy person. Comparatively, my wife is far more ambitious. She is very so my wife grew up in she's from Alaska, but she grew up on a homestead, which is like a pioneer piece of land that her father built a cabin on a glacier in Alaska. And they raised sled dogs. It's like, sounds crazy. It's like very wilderness rustic. So for her to start from there, where, you don't even have running water, for instance, And then to make her way in Los Angeles and be successful is like, it's very admirable to me. She's the opposite of lazy. So she's a good counterpart to me to make sure that, you know, we're challenging ourselves by trying to do more. And I'm a good counterpart to her because she needs to chill out a little bit too. And show some vulnerability, show some weakness. You don't have to be tougher than everybody, and be prepared for every disaster. It's a normal thing for her to be like that, coming from that kind of personality and that upbringing. But life is easy in Los Angeles. That's why well, for me it is. That's why I stay here, and it's part of, you know, how when you come from a hard place to live and you go to an easy place to live, I think it's easier to succeed that way. I don't know. Okay, there's a tiny little thing here. This is... just looked a little too one-dimensional. Why not look like the... Okay. Here we go. Alright, right there. It's a small thing, but that little bit was bugging me in the sword. Swords have a lot of, like, clear dimension to them. But it means the overlaps have to be kind of just right. Sorry, I just had a text. Okay. Okay, save my work. That looks good. I think the last little bit is, I just think these lines here are a little bit too much. Too much contrast. They're too liney. They look too cartoony for the space. That's interesting. Maybe a little bit more rendering, too. Definitely something. Brighter, brighter, brighter. Yellower. Maybe if I paint on top. bit of that color. Figuring out the angle that this stuff would be the most reflective at. It's really tricky. It's like thinking of light as billiard balls. Almost. Something that is intuitive, but also tricky to think about. If I threw a billiard ball at this shield and wanted to hit this fire from where we are here in relation to it, where would you hit it? Where would you throw it? My guess is it's somewhere here. So it's okay. And it looks pretty good like that. I also don't want it to be too bright. So that's looking better. Little pieces of light will bounce off the texture in this shield. I think. Doesn't need to be overrepresented. So maybe I cut into it a little bit. Just a taste, that's all it needs. Okay. Alright, Jules. Do you see anything majorly important that must be... anything sticking out that needs... it's begging to be corrected? There's always going to be things. I should click the save button. Thank you. I will click it right now. There's never... you know, it's never, like, done, you know? I'm sure you've done this before. You'll be reading a book and you'll catch like a typo, or even in textbooks they'll have errors, you know. There's an opportunity. Yeah, you don't see anything major. Good. That's the ultimate goal, is to... and I know that from like a distance, pretty much everything is just looking so good. Not in a humble way. Like I can be a harsh critic of myself, and being able to say that I'm happy with something is... there's a lot of things I've done that I... maybe not that. Oh, crap. As we make our way through this fun Zelda experiment, I'm pleased to say that I'm just happy that I'm learning so much more than I was a year ago. I feel like this small... can I be okay if it's not perfect? You know? Even small little things can be in the service of things like this small little speck kind of catches my eye, but is that bad? You know, maybe it helps balance out this little sparky speck that needed help. Looks good from back here. Okay. We're going to do one more iterative save. And now... so this one we get rid of. So this will have been the recent progress. So this is before today. Then this is after. Small things. To this way. I'll just delete this one. So it goes like this and that. Okay. All right. Now, it already looks good. We're going to... Photoshop does... Talbot, what's up? We're finishing off this one. This is the... Yes, I let it sit long enough today. I fixed... Here, I'll show you quickly, Talbot. We had our little incubation moment. So this is how it was when we left it. I'll make my face go away for a second. Oh no. Whoops. Okay, I'm back. It's silly, but now I'm using my iPad has a really good camera. And I wasn't using it. Like, I wasn't using it to draw. So I'm like, okay, it really makes sense to see if I can use this for something else. And it has a really good camera. So I'm using it now for the wonderful camera. And it's a much better camera. So I'm glad for that. But sometimes if I do something wrong, it'll the program that does the thing will go away. So this was it before we slept on it. I slept on it, I identified a bunch of things I want to fix, and now it looks like this, which is, you can barely tell there's any difference. I didn't make any major changes, just a few small things that are a little bit better. A little bit easier for me to live with. And then even all the every little thing, because there's still a lot of little things, but they're so little that, like, you just have to be okay with them. And I'm good with it. So now we are in the taking it to Photoshop stage. Here it is. And we're just going to do a little bit of the auto tone. And so what that does is it sort of organizes it sort of brings it more into a sense of organization with the color. So, like, if we're going to have very intense, you know, orange laser light and have that be a theme, it makes sense to counterpose that. Like, so now the laser lights and that orange glow is now clearly that is now clearly separated as like the accent colors in opposition to like this overall cool dungeon environment, and it's completely in the Zelda aesthetic. And if this didn't look, I think it's marginal, but I think it objectively looks better. If it didn't make it look better, I wouldn't go with it. But the difference, I think, is pretty. When you take it away, you can see that it added some clarity to the color organizing. That was always sort of part of the process. Was if things could look better by tweaking the levels or doing any of the brightness contrast filters in Photoshop, then it was fair game. And so this is good. Anything short of actually running like a true AI filter over it, I was happy enough to do. Because this was already part of my process previously when I was doing color or comic book work several years ago. And anyway, I'm colorblind, and I gotta know where I can't know it all. But this is definitely the step here. So we are gonna save a new version here. Now I'm gonna add the little signature. So I have the signature on the previous final image. This one. We'll port it over. I don't want it to look obnoxious. But it can't be invisible either. Very happy with that. Maybe a little bit lighter. So I don't want it to compete, but I think it's done. All right. Yeah, this is fun. That's good. Okay, I'm going to save it out right now. Let's do it. Call it final. It's always the kiss of death, but I like it. I don't feel like I need to make any changes. I know I slept on it. And if I spot more changes, it's just a lesson for next time. Just sleep on it an extra week. But this is good. I can live with this. I'm excited to post it, so that's great. All right, now let's do a reaction. Let's do our little. Gotta do our fun. Gotta do our fun thumbnail. And I always just take a still frame, so it's not like it has to be anything superposed. I could do a variety of things, but like heroic about it. You should point at the camera, yeah. It's a little too, okay, or, point at the, I could go. That look amazing. Or, where is it? This way, right? So it's like... That was pretty good, I think. You'd be like, whoa! I get so confused. What? Do like a cross-eyed silliness. Yeah, the thumb point's pretty good. Huh? The hard part is the framing. Right, here we go. That's the best part. That's the thing. All right, my marketing, my thumbnail game is strong. We're working on the personality. We're working on the everything else. But all facts, no pretty. Oh, that's funny. I like that. I'm gonna steal that one. Okay, that means this little stream is done. My kids are gonna be home any minute. I don't know. I gotta post this, and then hey, check my Instagram in a few minutes, and you can like it. You can like it. We it'll be good. Let's see here. Can I turn this on? Yeah. If anybody new happens to be lurking, you can follow Study Studio Max at Instagram and like my little Zelda posts. You can be among the tens of likers that like my stuff. That's good. All right. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next time. Peace. Oh, peace sign would be good. That'll be another one for next time. All right. Later.